Yeah, it's a solid strategy to throw out there for Winstrike. It's gonna be interesting to see how they draft around it though. Like, what do you follow up with the Clockwork Shadow Fiend? What are you gonna go for your safe lane? I think is the biggest question. Is that Clockwork going to be in the off lane, or is it gonna be a support clock relegated into that role? Which we don't see too often. I think we have seen it a lot more on that core position in the off, but you do have some flexibility to perhaps throw it in as the pos 4. Still, we'll see how it does unfold a little more. I think with that Clockwork, again, I think big one is really Lifestealer. You just have a natural vehicle there, but you'd want something that can keep up with the pace of the Clockwork's initiation. Like something that can jump in quite well as well to follow up.
I was having a thought though, with the position 1 of Winstrike. It seems like to keep up with a team like Virtus.pro, it does seem like they're going to need some kind of pos 1 that either comes online early like you mentioned, or flash farms very, very effectively. Obviously the Gyrocopter we thought may have been a hero that could come online early and could also flash farm, but it definitely wasn't the answer that time. And I wonder what kind of route they go down though. Winstrike for now, go for the Venge. Pretty strong support pickup. Virtus.pro, they took the Snapfire. It's obviously very strong with the Mars. And now you also have the TA up against the SF. And TA loves going up against SF, John. It's not so much an easy matchup, but it's an even matchup at the least for the TA.
Yeah, it's not the most lopsided matchup in mid. I'm curious to see how this support duo from Winstrike is going to do. I do see the reasoning behind that Venge, right? Like, you've got the Shadow Fiend, you've got the Venge, you've got a lot of minus armor going around, you've got the Ricky core as well coming out for Winstrike. So you have a lot of ways of getting that physical damage up and running, and you have great follow-up with the Clockwork with that Ricky. You know, you trap them in the cogs, you get your tricks off, it's going to be very easy to find those kills. And you have the Venge swap for saving people as well. So you've got a lot of tools here for Winstrike to really play around with. I think when it comes down to a big team fight, though, Virtus.pro is looking much stronger. The AA Snap, the Mars, all of these heroes have huge AoE skills that can give you a lot of control. And in the case of Snapfire, it gives you a little bit of mobility to get out as well, out of trouble. So you've got all these factors to consider when fighting into Virtus.pro now for Winstrike. And it's going to be something to watch out for. I think the key thing is going to be the timing of that Ricky. We saw the last time we saw that core Ricky, it came online quite fast. But that was coming from a pretty free lane. I'm not sure if you can really expect that for Winstrike up against VP.
That's the question in my mind. Is he going to get a free enough lane? And he is going to be matched up against the Mars and more than likely a Snapfire combo, which is pretty scary. Considering Mars would love the cookie setup into the spear, onto the Ricky. Sure, you have the Jukes, but as soon as that cookie lands, you're kind of screwed. They could also go for the AA Mars combination. You still have Spear into Cold Feet, which is also just as good. But the question still stands. Does he have as good of a start? We're going to find out. Only time will tell. I could still tell you 100% that Winstrike's draft is already better than their last one, in my opinion.
Oh yeah, no doubt about that.
Yeah,
way better. It's not really counteracted by any single pick from Virtus.pro right now. Like, there's nothing that really just shuts down what they want to do, like a disarm with a Gyrocopter and TA. So they've got a lot more leeway here. It's a bit more open-ended. I'm curious to see how they close it out. I think that last pick's going to be fascinating to watch come out. In fact, they just jumped straight to it. The Darkseer coming out. So you've got that team fight now. You've got that setup. You've got a solid offlaner that can be really annoying to deal with. And I think that works really well with something like the Ricky as well, right? You have a lot of damage that can fly right out in that Ricky. Once you start running around together, you can be a real nuisance to VP. And again, it just gives them that team fight, that AoE control that they were kind of lacking. So you have a way of forcing VP in unfavorable spots now. And that will mean that VP has to watch out for those 5v5 engagements. They do close out with the Troll.
I like it.
So, yeah, it's a solid pick. I think in this lineup, it's going to be interesting to see how exactly it faces up against what Winstrike has. But I think as a hero by itself, with what you already have, it fits in quite nicely. You know, it's good physical damage. It can be range, it can be up close. You have a nice bit of bash as well to keep these heroes in check. And I think it doesn't take too long to come online unless you go for the Battle Fury route. We'll see whether or not VP is going to take it a bit slower this game or keep up that pace we saw in game 1.
Couple of things to mention as well before we start that game number 2. You wouldn't know this because this was in a different league. Young G does play a lot of SF, John, and I just remembered how good he is on this hero. He is really fantastic. He tends to get quite a high net worth lead by the time you hit that mid game, and he can be very, very devastating on this hero. Another thing as well, you've got the Darkseer Clockwork combo, right? So the Iron Shell into the Battery Assault, just, I mean, you already talked about it. It's disgusting. It's disgusting to have to go against. But on top of that, Troll into the Riki. If there's one hero that can make the Battle Trance somewhat useless, could be the Riki. You got Smokescreen. You can obviously just Tricks the trade out. You can Blink out. You've even got the Requiem there from the SF. So they still have the answers to this Troll if necessary.
Yeah, I don't think the Troll is going to be a massive issue. I think it's still a solid core. It's not necessarily completely shut out by that Riki. Early on, yeah, when that Smokescreen is expended right on the Troll, he's not really going to be doing damage. I think you're going to have to try to look for an early way of going through the blind, which means a bit of a fast MKB perhaps, maybe third item build-up if you can afford it. Although you might want to sneak a BKB in there just to make sure you're not going to be controlled up too hard or facing too much damage against the SF if no one's going to be building a pipe. Still, it's going to be interesting to see whether or not VP will give that time to Kuman to grow big, because the lineup from Winstrike is looking a lot more fast-paced, right? Like the laning phase should be fairly solid for them, and their heroes don't require too much farm to be online. Even a Riki doesn't really take much. So we're going to see whether or not VP can actually hold out and get bigger on their course.
Zayak, Splinter Blast, straight to the face of DK Phogos, and now he's slowed up. He doesn't really have a way out of this, but he'll throw an Iron Shell out, and now TSA starts moving forward, and Zayak, he's going to be the target, and that Snapfire isn't very tanky. They'll take down one. Still Kakid will be the trade-off, and DK, he's going to put another Iron Shell on top of himself, and it looks like it should be a 2-for-1 trade. A solo will eventually tick out to Phogos. And it looks like Phogos thought about going for a deny on that tier 2, but he'll salve up instead. A great start for Winstrike.
Definitely. They've got themselves 2 nice kills. They don't go for the cogs on the SF though, so they're not really giving Young G that right-click advantage, but the Shadow Raises should still allow him to have a fairly decent time here up against no one.
Miles away.
Just looking at that bot lane, do have the Riki there up with Kakid up against Resolution on that Mars, and Zayak does return from the grave on that Snapfire. So they do run the Mars and Snap combination. That's going to be a very scary combination once you hit that mid game. Arena of Blood and Mortimer's Kisses, man, it's essentially the floor really does become lava. And it becomes very hard to try and fight into that. Still, mid lane, we do see no one. He'll be up against Young G. No one already has been providing a lot of harassment out onto Young G. And, you know, one thing we didn't really talk about, John, they didn't take advantage of the Clockwork Cogs and SF combo.
Yeah, they had to sacrifice that early on. Of course, if they did go for it, they would have gone for it from the fountain, but they opted for the more aggressive route. They have that they have the Darks here, of course, so they need the Battery Assault to really maximize that early aggression.
Oh, solo. Luckily for him, cogs aren't available on TSA. So he'll have to step back, and he can't do much about the creep skipping that's going on. You do still have a position 1 like Kuman, who is very well aware of how to farm underneath the tier 1 tower. So it's not like this Troll's going to really struggle to farm up. He's still going to get all the farm in the world. But at the very least, you also secure so much CS and XP on that Clock and on that Darkseer.
Definitely. It's going to be exactly what these 2 heroes need. I think the big part is that EXP is going to be going on to TSA as well. So he's going to have a decent timing into his level 6, and that does mean he can apply that pressure much earlier than you'd expect from a support Clockwork.
Interestingly enough, though, Phogos, he actually TP's back to the fountain. He was quite low on HP, but he did have a salve available. It looks like he just didn't feel comfortable while Solo was roaming around on the AA. And one chilling touch may have done the job. So he opts to back off. TSA, he does pull the creep wave behind his own tier 1 tower, and that is a double wave. So they are still going to get that farm. But it's going to be a little bit harder now, because you wouldn't expect TSA to try and pull the creep wave every time. And I don't believe that Kuman and Solo are really going to allow that to happen.
No, definitely not. In fact,
Solo's rotated, never mind.
I think even if you leave Kuman alone like this, as long as he's not being jumped and committed by these two, then you're not really getting that early aggression you want from the Clockwork Darkseer. Right? Kuman's at level 4. He's very happy to have this lane turn out the way it has.
23 last hits, 4 denies as well. Yeah, he hasn't been missing. That's for sure. So, still everything going fine. So, VP, understand this. They run a tri lane down bot. It's going to make it much harder. In fact, it is going to force an opposing tri lane from the side of Winstrike now. Because otherwise, this Riki definitely isn't going to be able to get any form of farm. And this isn't really what the Clockwork wants, but at least he is coming in at level 3.
Yeah, he's already got some EXP to play with. They are making a move on to Solo.
Yeah, it gets conked up. This should be a guaranteed kill. And it will be. As he goes for Zayak as well, but he doesn't have that Iron Show any longer. There'll be no follow-up, so TSA just going to have to walk himself out. And will do so. That was a position 5 AA. It's not too big of a deal, but they can keep going as Resolution now getting jumper cookie is there from Zayak. TSA should still be able to help secure Zayak at least, and they do. TSA picks up that kill, but now the Riki getting speared to a tree, and that is not the trade you want.
Definitely not. Like, they are still ahead 4-2. They did get that kill earlier on, but they do sacrifice their Riki, who's already not having the best of times in this lane matchup, right? Like, in terms of last hits, 18-7. You compare that to Arturo at 35-7, not a good time for Winstrike. Comparing these pause one course, he's going to have to play a bit of catch-up, or at the very least, expect a slightly slower ramp-up into his power spike in the mid-game.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Well, they do rotate the clock out.
Kuman found Young G. What?
Well, all right. What is
just
Kuman?
walked in jungle?
Okay, fair enough. Kuman picks up a kill by himself up against Young G, and was level 6. Didn't have battle trance, but didn't need it. Just claims the kill. Very well done. Meanwhile, the Darkseer Phogos going to be chased down on the Darkseer, of course, and Solo going to chase him. Trap. He's going to slow him down a bit, but here comes TSA. He's going to try and help out as no one. Does get caught in the conks, but also doesn't mind, as he will just snuggle up against TSA on the clock. Finds a very easy kill for himself.
And this is really just not going the way Winstrike wants it to. We expected their aggression with the DS clock to be much more effective. It's not. Like, you take a look at the Darkseer as well. Level 4, hitting just about to hit level 5, has the Soul Ring to jungle. But the impact, it's really not slowed down Kuman. He's had a free lane up top. He's had so much free time. He walks into the enemy jungle, finds kills for himself, and still gets all that farm going. And you take a look at Winstrike's own safe lane. It's been a struggle for our Riki to break through the middle part of the last hits board. In fact, down mid, Young G again.
Yeah, getting jumped, no one. Just finds a solo kill on his own. Meanwhile, the clock trying to come in and help, but he's been frozen up by the cold feet, and Battery Assault is about to wear off, which means Zayak should be able to claim an easy kill, but the Conks will block them up. Solo, not going to be in range for that chilling touch. Zayak, though, is still thinking about it if he could find a cookie.
Radiant structures are fortified.
But they do let the clock go. You already found the main target you wanted anyway. The SF went down solo to the TA, so I don't think they're really going to mind too much, as it looks like they've found Kikid now. But he does run out of range of the cold feet. But more importantly, VP have a 3k net worth lead.
Yeah, it's been a massive win in terms of farm for them. Mainly down to the fact that, again, Kumin's just free farming up top. And you're not having that same farm advantage for Winstrike down bot. Like, they've sacrificed so much up top, but they're not managing to really get any trade-off from that. Even their SF, Youngji, has been forced to dip into that jungle early on to try to find something for himself, and he's not sitting too pretty right now, especially compared to no one.
Ooh, that is some ugly farm on an SF. Brown boots, wraith bands, and a bottle. Bot lane, Solo, gonna get jumped on, but TSA, he's the one losing his HP. They do find a trade 1-for-1. Solo also getting jumped on by the Riki, but now they look to trade a Zayak. Doesn't have the cookie. Magic Missile will land on Resolution, and that'll be enough. But slowly but surely, Winstrike are looking to get even more aggressive. But I'd argue they're still not finding these trades that they really want. Like, you gave up your position 4 clock for a position 5 AA. And that only increased the net worth lead of VP, as you still have a free farming troll warlord up at the top lane.
Yeah, I think at some point, Winstrike will have to punish Kumin. Like, he's all alone here, there's no vision up top. So if they made a rotation here, it would be a very easy kill. The issue is they don't have a tier 1 to TP to, so it would be a while until they walk up to that troll. And that might be enough time for them to notice that something's up.
Not to mention, he is still holding a skill point, so he can always level up the battle trance if necessary. So it's not going to be that easy to kill, though. Bot lane, this could be an easy one. Arena being dropped down. Rezo has plenty of damage to follow up, and now Cookie will land on the Riki. Cold Feet going to be there as well. Rezo doesn't have another spear. Kiki, though, running back in. Rezo does have Soul Ring, so he can now get Spear and should be able to finish this job off, but missed the Spear in fact. Still, we'll use the Bulwark and God's Rebuke, and it will be enough. And there's really nothing a Riki can do in the laning stage to help in these situations.
No, definitely not. It's a rough time for our Riki, right? Like, he's not really had as much impact as he'd want, and... Oh. TSA.
TSA does TP to his shrine, and he just wants to protect it from being taken by VP. Their own one will still be safe in the Dire jungle, as nobody's really there to try and take it. And I guess that's one play that Winstrike may have gotten away with if they did go for that Dire outpost. Because again, it's only the troll up top. But they don't opt for that. Well, bot lane, Dust is going to be there on the Riki, but Spear does not connect to a tree. Rezo barely missing, and they ping out the tree. Like, why would you not let the Spear connect on you, Mr. Tree? That was very rude.
Unfortunate, but while all that was happening, Winstrike was smoked up. They don't manage to find anyone, though. No one is still there. They are walking under a ward, though.
Yeah, there's the smoke being broken, no hook shot. Surge, they just run past him. It looks like TSA wanting to make sure no one's behind. There's no one. Happy to man fight now. Resolution's here on the Mars. And it's going to be another easy kill. The war was committed and doesn't really do too much. That'll make it a 5-9, but John, a 7k net worth lead. It does now tick down to 6, but we're at 11 minutes in. This is quite a concern for VP to say the not for VP, for Winstrike to say the least.
Yeah, it's a pretty big conundrum that they've found themselves in, Winstrike. They've given Kumin, and at this point, they've given no one as well. Too much free farm. 6.2k net worth on both of these heroes very early on. Compare that to the top net worth right now on Winstrike. That's going to be their SF. Young G is at 4k. He is 2.2 behind at this point from these two big cores. That's not where you want to be as an SF. And that's just going to trickle down to the other cores as well. They're not having a good time as well.
Oh, swap in Rezo. He could be in trouble now. This would be a very, very nice pick off, though. He's still alive. Spear back in the Riki. In fact, DK Fergos is the one to pick it up. And now Solo also goes down. And here comes the Mortimer's Kisses. TSA may die, but he gets the hook shot perfectly. But shotguns to the face. It's a double barrel after all. And now the Cookie. Kumin coming in. He has the battle trance available, and that'll be an even team fight. I'd say it still works out better for Winstrike because they are behind. In fact, never mind, it's not too even. It was a 2 for 3. Rezo did go down. That is a substantial amount of golden XP going their way.
Yeah, it's a good little win for Winstrike. Still not the cleanest win they could have hoped for, but the Ricky does soak a lot of that gold up and a lot of that EXP, so they are trying to bounce back in here. And they do manage to at least peg down that offlaner from VP. But you've still got issues with that troll, with the TA, and they are going to be applying pressure on these towers now. They've taken out the first 2 tier 1s up top and down mid, and take down this bot tier 1. Suddenly the map is just that much less safe.
Bot lane. They do find out Zaya. So Winstrike, they have hookshot. 1 hero down. This could be the time to go. Can TSA find somebody? Rezo, he'd be a great target. They have those iron shells up on the clock. And on the Ricky. But they opt not to try and hook. They'll leave it be. And Winstrike, I mean, I believe you need to go for those kind of openings when you have the chance. They're going to smoke up now, but Zayak's going to be up and ready to go. And he has Mortimer's Kisses back up in 10 seconds. It may be too late for this smoke. But they're going to try anyway.
Oh, they planted ward.
They did, and it may have been spotted though. Hookshot still lands on Solo, but he just turns around with Cold Feet. He does go down and now. Nice swap from Kiki, but TSA still goes down regardless, and now Mortimer's Kisses. They just melt. And no one. He'll keep moving forward. Blink Strike will be there from the Ricky. But it's 2 supports for the price of 1 support, and it could be worse. No one has a blink, and he's not done. But no detection for the Ricky any longer. And he will walk away with his life intact. And I just don't think you can afford to hesitate if you're in a position like this as Winstrike. And they're going to try now on Rezo. But Rezo should know this is there's a Ricky around him. The Iron Shell's ticking him out, but apparently he didn't for a bit. He went for those CS, but that may cost him his life, or maybe not. He does go down, but no one. He finds a trade in Phogos, but now no one. Actually finding a secondary in TSA, and they'll keep up this team fight now. The Ricky copping a shotgun blast to the face once again as Kikid gonna go down, and no one's not done. Young G trying his best to try and get this TA, but he'll go down as well. It's a full team wipe at 14.5 minutes. And I guess we could argue that Rezo did notice the Iron Shell was going on and was just baiting.
Yeah, I reckon that really was it. Like, he knew no one was right behind him anyway. He was trying to set it up so they would come in, they'd cop the damage from a TA who has Blink Powered Treads and Desolator at 15 minutes. That timing's insane. 10k net worth right now on no one. You know, it's like, you don't mess with his TA at this point if you don't have any way of keeping her down. And right now, with the way Winstrike's been going in, they certainly don't. They don't quite have a response up and ready. VP can be very happy with the situation so far. Do you see Ricky stalking out Kumin?
He's got backup trance. He's got battle trance. They've got to permanently disable him. The T1's still there. They're going to smoke screen, but they knock him out with the cogs. He's going to be able to get the battle trance off now. As he does, and now the rest of the team comes in. Kisses fly out. TSA's dead. They stun up the troll, but you've already lost. As, what is that swap? Back into the wall, but the Ice Blast does fly in. Kikid, I'm not sure what that was. And, well, Rezo, he's looking for more. He still has the arena up. Phogos, slow it up. Cookie does land, arena drops, spear is there, and it's a rinse and repeat for resolution. And Zayak will again give him the spray. And I really don't want to point out what the net worth is right now, John, but 14k, 16 minutes. We're looking at almost 1k a minute for VP.
Oh yeah, it's a rough spot for Winstrike. They've got to try to stitch it together with their lineup. They still have a pretty good power spike here. Like, their heroes are just naturally strong right now. If they can get the initiation they need, they just aren't getting it. This would be a good time for it. They have hookshot. They could try to contest a Roche.
They rocket flare. They have hookshot, but it's too late. Zayak, he was just blocking perfectly, and that's because he had an observer ward giving vision of the clock. And now Kikid stuck around a little too long, and VP, they have vision everywhere, John. It was this observer ward now, giving sight on that Venge.
Yo, no one.
It blinks in, but with a Deso, Blink, and Aegis up, and he's only a recipe away from a BKB. In fact, make that 300 gold. this TA, you cannot contest.
No, definitely not. Like, there is no control. He's just about 50 gold away from BKB. There's no way you're stopping this guy. You have nothing. Maybe a swap to change his position, but that's it. No one has complete control here. They're going to take out this tier 2 up top. You do see Winstrike posturing around. I don't think they can find that kill, though.
They're going to just stick around for now. T2 does go down. VP, they're happy to fight. There's an Aegis up. No one. Smoke trap is there. Smoke screen going to be there on Rezo. He's a tanky target, but it looks like they have caught him out. And that'll be a big kill. VP, I thought they'd be willing to jump in, but it looks like no one. He wanted to wait for his BKB to come out. He does have it now. And I suppose with a 10-second BKB charge and an Aegis, the next team fight is basically in the bag, though he's alone. Is this a bait? No one. Can you really take on the team by yourself? He's going to go straight after the Riki. Tricks of the trade is there. The Riki going to blink strike away. No one. Still kind of baiting them forward, but he only has one teammate to help around him, and that's Solo on the AA. No one. Pops the BKB now. He wants to fight again just by himself. TSA. One goes down. And okay, apparently they really can't fight him as 5. Fair enough, no one. You've shown us your flex. We get it. We get that you're far ahead, sir. Ag's up on Zayak.
Yeah, that's he's been building up towards it, so you've got that spit out now. That's going to be interesting to watch out for. And you've got the BKB up and coming. Oh, there you go. Yeah,
He tosses the Tronkicade. Excuse me. It just never gets old, does it? It's
no.
What is it? Ice Rock's trolling with these Ags now. I mean, come on. What is that?
I mean, you know, that's a big lizard. I don't know if it's big enough to swallow a humanoid, you know? Like, that scaling's pretty wacky. It's got a really flexible jaw there.
Oh, no one again. TSA gonna get jumped on.
Ooh,
no
ouch.
one taking out 1/3 of his HP with 2 strikes, and now the gobble up again. Rezo straight on the targets as he gets the Arena of Blood, and they clean up too. Okay, the Ags make sense. We get it. VP will go for the mid racks. We're 20 minutes in, the GG's been called, and I don't blame him. 20k net worth lead. Young G on his signature hero being this far behind. VP, that they gave them no hope.
No. They just took every single lane out just like that. And Winstrike, they did fix their drafting issue, but I'd say VP just played all around them. They knew what they had to do. They couldn't get the leverage they needed for something like the Riki and SF to come online. And it just fell apart from there.
John, on the brighter side for us, because we like to have long, epic series, right? And that one was pretty dominant by VP. There's no lying about that. Winstrike will go down to the lower bracket, and they are yet to have their contestant. In fact, never mind, they're not, because it will be, again, my memory doesn't serve me very well, it will be Fly to Moon who will be versing Winstrike in the lower bracket, but for now, we do have the upper bracket finals to decide who will be going to the grand finals of the Parimatch Season 2 League, and it's coming up very, very soon. So VP versing Hellraisers. Both these teams had dominant 2-0 victories over their opponents. The question is, can they beat each other? And we'll find out the answer to that in hopefully 5 to 10 minutes. It is MLP Dota and johnxfire. We'll see you all again very, very soon for that upper bracket final.